Hi there, I'm really glad you're here and welcome back to the Declutter Homemaker. I've always been drawn to the kind of simplicity that feels peaceful to live in, not just pretty to look at. And after years of chasing systems and better storage, here's what I've learned. The real shift isn't about more bins, it's about less. Less clutter, less pressure, less noise in our homes and in our heads. If your space always feels just a little too full, like no matter how much you tidy, it still feels heavy, you're not alone. Most of us are living with quiet clutter, the kind that hides in plain sight and slowly drains our energy without us even noticing. That's why today I'm sharing 5 space stealers that might be making your home feel more chaotic than it is. Not single items, but categories of things that build up quietly, furniture that no longer fits your life storage, that adds more work, and just in case items that crowd out calm. This isn't about having less just to have less. It's about choosing what really supports your life and letting go of the rest gently. Let's get into it. Let's start with the first category, because this one catches almost everyone off guard. It's the small stuff. The things that seem harmless because they're cute, or light, or just a little extra, but they add up, and before you know it, you're not walking through your home, you're weaving through it, like throwing pillows. On the bed, on the couch, sometimes even on the floor, because there's nowhere else to put them. I used to think they made the space feel cozy, pulled together, but at some point I realized I was spending more time adjusting pillows than actually sitting down to relax. I kept the 2 I actually used. Now I make the bed in 30 seconds and never trip over a pile of fluff on my way to the bathroom at night. Another sneaky one is the just for now basket. It looks helpful at first, a spot to drop things temporarily, but what starts as a shortcut turns into a dumping ground. Receipts. You meant to file a phone charger you weren't sure worked. Things your kid handed you that you didn't know what to do with. I gave myself a new rule: if it's in that basket for more than 2 weeks and I haven't used it or missed it, I don't need it. Now let's talk about bags. Handbags, backpacks, tote bags. Most of us have way more than we use. I had a whole shelf full, some were still stuffed with napkins and wrappers from years ago. When I really thought about it, I always reached for the same 2, so I let the rest go, and just like that, my closet didn't feel cramped anymore. Not because it magically expanded, but because it wasn't holding things I didn't need. And kids' toys, especially the ones they've outgrown. There was a little ride-on truck in our hallway that hadn't moved in over a year, but every time I passed it, I thought it was his favorite. That sentence kept me stuck for months. Eventually, we sat down together, chose a couple of special toys to keep, and gave the rest away. What surprised me most, he didn't miss them, and neither did I. The truth is, these small things don't just take up space on shelves and floors. They take up space in your mind. They create more decisions, more maintenance, more frustration. And it made me wonder, how do some homes always feel so calm even when life is busy, that effortless order you see in some spaces? It's not luck, it's rhythm. It's the way small daily choices add up over time. I've been exploring those quiet habits lately, and tomorrow I'll be sharing a few that truly shifted how I live in my space. They're simple, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. Don't miss it. And if these tiny items can cause this much buildup, wait until we get into the next group, the ones that pretend to be helpful, but actually make everything messier. Now we're on to the second category, and this one is sneaky because it looks like a solution. These are the things we bring home with the best of intentions. A little cart to get organized, a basket to help catch the clutter, a set of bins to finally sort that one messy corner. And for a while it feels like progress, until it doesn't. Take those small plastic drawer units, 3 tiers usually sitting in a hallway corner or beside the fridge. They seem useful, but if you're anything like I was, they become black holes for things you don't actually want to deal with. Expired coupons, mystery cords, broken pens, pieces of kids' toys. You don't want to throw it out, but you also don't want to find a real home for it. That drawer becomes the in-between space, only the in-between stretches out for months, sometimes years. Or the organizing products you haven't even opened. The cute containers you picked up from the store because they were on sale or because you had big plans to finally tackle that drawer. I had an entire shelf in my laundry room full of baskets and dividers that never made it to their future purpose. If it's been sitting for more than 3 months, it's probably not going to happen. And keeping it just in case is only stealing space from the things you're actually using right now. Then there are unfinished projects. Not clutter, right? They're meaningful, creative. But if you've had that pile of fabric waiting to be sewn, or those scrapbook supplies you haven't touched in a year, it's worth asking. Does this inspire me or guilt me? I had a candle making kit that stared at me every time I opened my closet. I finally admitted I don't want to make candles. I wanted the feeling of being someone who makes candles. And that's not the same thing. And one more type of clutter we rarely name things other people give us. The shelf your mom passed down when she downsized. The box of books your sister thought your kids would love. Gifts you didn't ask for, but feel wrong giving away. I used to keep things out of obligation, not use. It took me a while to realize their story doesn't have to become my storage. All of these projects, Bins Gifts Have Solutions, share one thing: they're not neutral. They take up attention, maintenance, and mental load. The trick is learning to recognize when something that promised to help is actually holding you back. And speaking of things holding us back, next we need to talk about the big stuff. The furniture, the pieces that were once useful or stylish but are now taking up more room than they deserve. Now we're in the third category, and this one stings a little more than the rest, because these are the things we once considered good investments. Solid wood, full sets, furniture that felt grown up and responsible, and maybe at one point they really did fit our lives. But now they're just in the way. Let's start with the big entertainment unit. You know, the one it takes up the entire wall, probably has towers on both sides and a heavy top bridge over the TV. At one time, it held a DVD player stereo system, maybe even a CD collection. But today, everything is digital. The TV is on the wall, the speakers are wireless, and that enormous piece of furniture is mostly full of forgotten cables and dust. I worked with a client last spring who finally let hers go after years of hesitation. The first thing she said after we moved it out, "I feel like I can breathe in my living room again." Then there's the old school computer desk, the kind with a pull-out tray for the keyboard, a special slot for the tower, CPU, and 10 drawers you never open. I had one of these for way too long. Even after switching to a laptop, I let it sit in the corner collecting unopened mail and random clutter. Replacing it with a small writing desk completely changed how I used that corner. Now it's where I journal in the morning with light coming through, not guilt sitting in a pile. Dining room hutches and buffets are another big one, literally. Most are filled with china we never use, glasses too fancy for real life, and serving platters for parties we rarely host. If any of that sounds familiar, ask yourself this. Are you keeping the furniture or the fantasy of someone who entertains more than you do? I asked myself that. And once I let go of the stuff I was supposed to use, I started loving my space for what it actually was. Guest beds also sneak up on you. A full-sized bed in a room that only sees visitors twice a year. That's a lot of square footage waiting for someone who may or may not come. I replaced mine with a high-quality air mattress and a fold-down desk. Now it's my workspace, my quiet reading corner, my creative zone. And when guests do come, they sleep just fine. Better actually, because I'm not stressed out by a room I never use, and we can't skip the oversized couch. It looked dreamy in the showroom, so plush, so many seats. But now it swallows your whole living room and only 2 people sit on it regularly. I had a client swap hers for a smaller sofa and a soft armchair. We didn't move the walls, but suddenly her space felt twice as big. The light came back in, so did the flow. These pieces aren't clutter in the traditional sense. They're not shoved into corners or scattered across counters. They're just too big, too permanent, too out of sync with how your life actually looks right now. And that's the quiet danger. They take up massive space without looking wrong, which makes them so much harder to question. But the truth is, your home has to work for who you are today, not who you were when you bought that piece 10 years ago. Because every time you keep something oversized, just in case, what you're really saying is, I'll stay a little smaller than I need to be. We're now stepping into the fourth category, the ones that don't scream for attention but quietly drain your space and energy. These hidden zones seem harmless, but when ignored, they become holding pens for things you didn't really choose to keep. Take the storage room. It was supposed to hold seasonal items and tools, but became a retirement home for maybe one-day stuff. A box of tangled wires, random souvenirs, old party supplies, clothes that don't fit but still sting when you look at them. I used to avoid even opening that door, but when we needed space for my husband's home office, I had to face it. And letting go of all those maybes was like closing old tabs in my brain. Now it stores only what we actually use, and the rest becomes breathing room. Slide under the bed and you might find a similar trap, a dark zone that slowly fills with forgotten things, gift bags, mystery cords, a broken lamp you meant to fix. When I cleared mine out, I set a rule: if it doesn't have a clear reason to live under here, it doesn't stay. Today, each bed has 2 shallow labeled bins, one for linens, one for keepsakes. No more stuff shuffle when cleaning. Nightstands are another sneaky spot. You might have one with deep drawers and extra width that just sits there, half empty. Or worse, full of random chargers, receipts, and hair ties. I swapped mine for a sleek floating shelf. No drawers to fill, just enough space for a book, a glass of water, and my phone. The room felt instantly lighter, like I could actually rest in it. And if you've got a linen closet, you might be holding a collection, not a system. I had shelves of mismatched sheets, heavy blankets from my college days, pillowcases I didn't even recognize. The turning point, realizing each bed only needs 2 good sets, the rest donated or tossed. That simple edit gave me space to store things we use every week, like towels, paper goods, even extra toiletries. It's funny, these weren't messy spaces. They were full of things I thought were useful, or that I felt guilty getting rid of. But once cleared, they gave me back mental space. I felt less burdened, more focused. And it's not just about emptying them, it's about turning them into what you really need: a calm corner, a reading nook, a real guest space. Because when clutter moves out, clarity moves in. Now that we've tackled the stuff you don't always see, let's move on to what your eyes can't unsee, the kind of clutter that's completely silent but constantly screaming at your brain. Now that we've cleared the hidden corners, let's talk about something more subtle, the kind of clutter you see, not step over. You might have every surface wiped and every drawer in order, but somehow the room still feels heavy. That's visual clutter. It's the noise your eyes have to process every single day. Think about your walls. Maybe you've added things slowly over time. One photo here, a framed quote there, a few cute prints that looked good on Pinterest. Until one day you realize every inch of the wall is covered. It's not chaos exactly, but it's loud. I tried removing everything from one wall and leaving just one big photo that truly mattered. Instantly, the whole room felt calmer. My eyes finally had a place to rest. When your eyes can rest, your mind follows. Now look toward your windows. Heavy, dark curtains might make a room feel finished, but they also block light, and light is what gives a space life. I used to have thick brown drapes in our living room because I thought they made it feel warm. In reality, they made it feel like a cave. Swapping them for lighter linen curtains changed the mood completely. The walls felt farther apart. The air felt clearer. It's amazing what happens when you just let light in. And if you scan the floor, you might spot a few tall shapes that don't belong anymore. An unused floor lamp, or a fake plant that hasn't been dusted in a year. They were meant to make the room feel styled, but now they're only taking up oxygen. I had this tall artificial ficus that used to stand proudly by the window. Once I moved it out, the room actually expanded. Sometimes it's not about adding beauty, it's about letting the space breathe again. Now take a moment to look at your tech corners, the old speakers, the DVD towers, maybe even that box from your last TV you've kept just in case. Those were once special, maybe even expensive, but holding on doesn't bring their value back. It just costs you more space. I finally recycled the boxes, donated the speakers, and backed up the DVDs digitally. What was left behind wasn't emptiness, it was relief. Because clutter isn't always a physical mess. It's anything that competes for your attention, even quietly. And when you start clearing that visual noise, something subtle but powerful happens. Your home starts to feel peaceful before you even touch a single thing. So those were the kinds of items I slowly learned to let go of, not because they were wrong, but because they quietly made my home feel more crowded than it needed to be. You don't need to clear everything all at once. Sometimes just removing one thing that no longer serves you is enough to shift the entire mood of a space. And if even one item we talked about today made you pause and think, I could let that go, then that's already a step toward a calmer, lighter home. But clearing the physical clutter is just the beginning. There's something else you can do daily in small moments to keep your space from ever getting to this point. If you want to know how certain habits can make a home stay effortlessly tidy without the pressure, stay tuned for tomorrow. Trust me, it's something you'll definitely want to try out. If this video gave you a bit of clarity, feel free to like or leave a comment. I'd love to hear what stood out for you. And if you want more content that helps you create a home that feels like a break, not a burden, you can always subscribe. I'm glad you're here.